Hey, welcome back to the channel. And guys, if my Shakespeare serves me right, parting is such sweet sorrow. So, Mr. Peter Dinklage from Game of Thrones is promoting a new film at Sundance, the Sundance Film Festival. I have no idea what this movie is about or, what he's doing on it, but we do know Game of Thrones is wrapping up. This is the final season, only 6 episodes. There are only those six remaining, but each one will be like a mini movie. And unfortunately for Mr. Peter Dinklage, although he's at Sundance and he's trying to do what actors do when they're in a new film, which is promote that new film, people keep asking him about Game of Thrones. They just won't let him uh, get much in without having some questions about Game of Thrones. So he talks about, Game of Thrones, much like George R. Martin had done in earlier interviews. He used the term the bittersweetness of saying goodbye to Game of Thrones. And of course, we got to hear George R. Martin talk about the bittersweet ending, similar to what we get in his the person who influenced him the most, J.R.R. Tolkien. With the end of the Hobbit series, and basically all these magical creatures going away, and there being now this time a man. So Game of Thrones is on its way out, but not without giving us something to leaving us with something that hopefully will last another 10 years. And they have many great candidates. So, although Mr. Peter Dinklage didn't really get, chance to really promote his movie probably like he wanted, because they keep bothering him about Game of Thrones, obviously. We did get to learn that it won't come out to 2019, looks like, and they try to get in before the end of April, which is the deadline for the Emmy nominations, which Game of Thrones likes to usually take home several dozen. And so we're pretty much confirmed that, if we go by past history and that it probably will be maybe early 2019, April perhaps. But so some of the information we got about the candidates to the spinoff series we're going to get, or not spinoff, but rather prequel series, is that we will be aware of the family. So these will be prominent families. They will be well-known families. So when we think of well-known families, we can think of everybody from the Targaryens to the Lannisters to the Aarons to the Baratheons. But we did also, receive some information that the story of the Baratheons, pretty much, Robert Baratheon, and a lot of those events, around that period, won't be addressed because they were already, pretty much been addressed in the Game of Thrones show with, a lot of, flashbacks to events, during Robert's rebellions, like we got to see Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna, all during Robert's, leading up to Robert's rebellion, rather. So some candidates we have are like the Blackfire Rebellion. We have perhaps Aegon's Conquest, maybe a Dance with Dragons, which is the Targaryen Civil War. I think that, probably will be interesting, the Targaryen Civil War. The problem, though, is, the Targaryen Civil War looks like it will require a lot of CGI and dragons. And we won't get Duncan Egg, the Duncan Egg series, because Duncan Egg is still being written by George R. Martin, as I understand it. Won't get Robert's Rebellion. Could possibly get Aegon's Conquest. I think Aegon's Conquest would be a great idea, because much like how Daenerys is now moving around Westeros with three dragons, or what used to be three dragons, now two dragons. Aegon conquered Westeros with three dragons and his sister wives. So that, I think that would be plausible. I mean, I think it would be doable, seeing that we've already seen Daenerys doing it, kind of did her version of Field of Fire, to kind of recreate those scenes, and the pyrotechnics I don't think would be that far of a stretch. So I think that would all be interesting to see. But that's what we're looking at, guys. We're definitely going to get this prequel series. Definitely, it's going to be well-known families we know, so it won't be taking place and say like over in Essos or someplace where we don't know the people. And so we'll be looking forward to that. Game of Thrones, perhaps the greatest TV show that ever has been, ever will be. Perhaps, maybe. But in the meantime, to get through HBO and get through 2018, some people online believe that Westworld will appear in early 2018 of this year. So perhaps, if we're lucky, before April's over, I hope. Although I've heard that it could be later, but if they want to hit the Emmys, that's what they're going to have to do. But guys, anyway, that's all I want to say about that. Guys, you like content like this, don't forget to like, subscribe. And until next time, take care.